Hi, I'm Victoria, and today we're going to be discussing cybersecurity. As an overview, today we'll look into an introduction to cyber attacks, the impacts of cyber attacks, some examples, and then some strategies to combat against cyber attacks. Let's get started. So, what is a cyber attack, you may be wondering? A cyber attack is any intentional effort to steal, expose, alter, disable, or destroy data, applications, or other assets through unauthorized access to a network, computer system, or digital device. And what this means for our supply chains now is that they're extra vulnerable to cyber attacks. We've gone increasingly digital in the way that we set up our supply chains and our commands, and one weak link in the supply chain can expose the whole chain to a cyber threat, as we'll see in some of our next examples. So the impact of these cyber attacks is quite vast. There can be disruptions and delays, which leads to late delivery of goods and services, which we obviously don't want, customer dissatisfaction and reputational damage for your brand, and then paying more in insurance premiums for the threat of a cyber attack, and also paying more in security, which leads to higher operational expenses and less revenue for your company. Next, we're going to look at some examples. First is the NotPetya cyber attack. The NotPetya cyber attack occurred in 2017 when sophisticated malware targeted at Ukrainian companies spread to global supply chains. This malware was designed to cause maximum destruction, and it encrypted the company's files and made their systems unable to operate. This attack had profound effects on corporations like Merck, Mondelez, and Reckitt Benckiser. This led to production delays, significant financial losses, and supply chain delays, of course. Next is the Colonial Pipeline cyber attack. This attack occurred in 2021 when hacker group DarkSide accessed Colonial Pipeline's network through an exposed password for a VPN account. They think that an employee likely used a repeated password for the VPN in another location, and it became compromised in a data breach or something like that. The hackers stole 100 gigabytes of data in just 2 hours and infected Colonial Pipeline's IT network with ransomware. To stop the ransomware from spreading, Colonial Pipeline had to shut down the pipeline, which led to delays in gas and people unable to pump gas in their cars and trucks. And they ended up having to pay these hackers to get the decryption key and to regain control of their systems. So lots of financial loss, and the hackers won. Now let's talk mitigation. What can we do company-wide to help prevent cyber attacks? First, we need to implement enhanced security measures. Companies need to be collaborating with government agencies and developing contingency plans. This includes alternate transportation routes in case there is a cyber attack on one part of the system. And companies also need to be investing in risk assessment and intelligence gathering, and just prepare for threats before they actually show up. Also, employee training and awareness is very important, and it's what we're doing right now. Let's move on. Next, for personal mitigation from employee to employee, what can we actually do in our work lives to help prevent cyber attacks? First, we need to be familiar with security policies and plans. Don't miss out on critical security training or emails, it's just not worth it. Second, we need to be aware of where we're storing confidential documents and only save sensitive documents in approved locations. Next, we need to be using multi-factor authentication when available, and we need to only request the documents necessary to do our jobs, just so that nothing gets out in a data leak. We also need to be using company-issued and company-approved devices to do our work. And if you're using a personal device, it needs to be password protected. Also, being thorough when reading and sending out emails is very important. Make sure that you're not clicking any suspicious links, obviously, or sending any files to the wrong email address. It could be as simple as a typo, could lead to a data breach. And then when in doubt about something, just ask your supervisor if you have any questions, and better safe than sorry is a general rule for cybersecurity. And then also take security training seriously, which I hope everyone's doing here. Let's move on. Here are some of the resources that I used. And remember, cybersecurity isn't just about technology, it's about people, vigilance, and making smart choices every day. Stay sharp, stay safe, and be the first line of defense. Thank you for listening.